All right, let's talk about what moving forward after divorce really looks like. I am going right in with the topic today. I'm not wasting any time. Y'all know what divorce is. You know what divorce is. Divorce is that thing that can leave you staring at the ceiling at 2 o'clock in the morning like, damn, did I really marry that person? Really? Yeah, divorce can have you thinking that. Remember how I say two things can be true at the same time? Divorce is one of those things. Divorce is a breakup of one thing. It is also a full-on reboot of you. Divorce is scary. It is messy. It is expensive. And at times, it feels like your entire life got tossed upside down. Listen, divorce ain't for the weak. It is definitely not for the weak. But guess what? You don't crumble from it. You rebuild. You take those lessons, sprinkle a little self-love on the top, and you keep moving forward like the resilient person you are. Now, I know the journey ain't easy. It's just not easy. There's going to be some ups and downs. But, however, since the journey is not easy, I'm not going to leave you out there by yourself. I'm not going to let you go through it alone. My guest co-host and I will be talking about divorce and moving forward. See, my guest co-host has been there and done that. She is an author, a powerhouse speaker, and a fearless divorce coach, helping people reclaim their confidence and rewrite the next chapter of their lives. She has wisdom and a spirit-led, no-nonsense approach. So she turns heartbreaks into breakthroughs. Natasha Mack is the best advocate and hype woman for anyone reclaiming their life after breakup. As a matter of fact, she is also co-hosting a free masterclass going on right now. This free masterclass is about gaining confidence and clarity with moving forward in your life. I will include the link for the masterclass in the description below. Now, my guest co-host is in the business of helping others rediscover their inner strength. Her mission and her vision is to build a community that heals by creating safe spaces to connect. So get ready to be inspired, to be challenged, and maybe even a little bit entertained. Because when she speaks, transformation follows. Please welcome Natasha S. Mack.
So, hey, everybody, this is Davina, the relationship guru, and I am very excited today because I have a special guest. So, I know I meet a lot of women who either have been through a divorce. I myself am one person that has been through a divorce. And I often meet a lot of women who maybe have had multiple divorces, and that's okay. There's no judgment there. What I want you to know is there is somebody who has decided to make it their passion to help women navigate after divorce. So I am so excited here to have my guest and jump right in with this conversation, Miss Natasha S. Mack. How are you today?
I'm doing so good. Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate you.
Yeah, no worries at all. So tell me about Miss Natasha Mack.
Okay, perfect. Well, I am a child of God. I'm a daughter of the King of Kings. I am a mom of two boys. They are 6 and 8. I'm also a servant leader in my community. I love to serve at my church and out again in the community. I love to also embark on like all things creative. So anything from writing to interior design, as well as, of course, I love music and fashion. But I do have a great appreciation, though, for different like movie genres. So I would say my top three are like action, romance, and of course, like I would say kind of some like dramatic movies. I love comedy too. But also, too, this last year, I am a published author of two books. One is called Transformational Poetry. It's about personal growth, faith, and purpose. I also have another book titled Obedience, and that one is for children ages 3 to 9. So that book is really just speaking to teaching our children that obedience is a lifestyle. So I would say my vision as a novelist is really just to empower women and inspire children through story writing. Now, I would say my professional journey, I love to say that it's tied with like a compassionate guidance towards human resources. So I have over 10 years in the corporate sector. And I feel with my current transition as a human resource individual, I've transitioned to, of course, a business owner. And so I plan to really implement the skill set that I learned there into coaching. But I'll do that really by just creating like safe spaces for my clients to really just feel they can heal and grow and just empower them through like different skill sets. And I plan to have ultimately just different opportunities for them to practice doing like self-awareness activities to really build on their inner strength so they can move forward in their life.
That is so important. And my hat's off to you for taking on quite a passion and a task, especially with your journey. You have 2 children, and they still need your support and your help. And you have to take time for you and being an accomplished author. So all of that is so impressive, and congratulations. I love to see women succeed. I love to see women find their passion, find their niche, because it really and truly, there's room out here for all of us. There is enough to do for all of us to find something to do that is positive and constructive and that is going to help someone else. So my hat's off to you for that. Now, how did she get here? Like, take us maybe a decade by decade as to how Miss Natasha became to be the person that she is.
Great question. So you say decade to decade. So we'll say, because I'm about to be 40, so we'll go with 20-year-old Tasha. I grew up originally in Birmingham, Alabama, and I'm actually originally from Louisiana. So I moved to Texas in 2013, specifically for work. So during that transition, there was a lot of, I say things happen in seasons, right? So from the 20-year-old Natasha, who was really just focused on her career, traveling, enjoying life with her friends, the 30-year-old Tasha really transitioned to her career, moved to Texas, and that's where I met my husband and really started building on my family, career, as well as my faith, and just getting in closer relationship with our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. So through that journey, and of course, after my divorce, there was a shift for me, right? And I would say it was a mindset shift. So for me, that's where it transitioned from corporate to coaching. This was not like a vision I had in my 20s or 30s, like, oh, I want to, be a life coach. This was definitely a leading, I would say, to this industry. But also, too, I feel like, as we all know, there can be like beauty on the other side of pain. So I feel like that is really what happened to me. And I'm really still in that season because this is the beginning stages of it, where the lessons I learned, right now I can implement that as a life coach.
Yeah, that you answered like a couple of my questions right there. So thank you. You did answer some of the questions about your qualifications and how you got here. And you did happen to mention that you have been divorced or previously married, either way, and how it has shaped your life and your approach to where you are now. and how you can have a point of reference to help your clients, right? In so many experiences, especially knowing what you know from the 20-year-old Natasha to the almost 40 Natasha, is really going to help a lot of women, both older and younger, to kind of be able to know that there is better on the other side, that, you know, the beginning of the journey does not determine the end of the journey either. So, you know, that is very impressive. So what few things would have helped you to grow? What things have been the scariest for you, and things that have been the most challenging for you?
Great question. So I would say the things that have been the most challenging are just the co-parenting dynamic, and, you know, having two parents in the household, that impacts, of course, the finances. And then also just the feelings that you navigate after divorce. So I'll say for me, what was a challenge was navigating grief. So I wasn't aware that I was even, navigating that until a mentor specifically told me that's what I was dealing with, because I associate grief, I'm sure as a lot of people do, as someone passing away or a traumatic situation where someone transitions, right? But what I learned is I did experience grief. I was grieving the life that I once had. I was grieving the marriage, the career. I was, grieving all of those things because the woman I used to be was no more, right? I was dying to myself, right? Mm-hmm. So navigating through that was definitely a process for me. But of course I had community, prayer, all of those things really helped. But I would say for me, the hardest, personally, I say the three hardest, like I say, was the finances, the co-parenting, and those emotions. So having two-parent household, especially if it's an unexpected, situation for you, that's a big transition, two-income household to one. What I recommend for a lot of people is to, have a budget. That's what I learned. Just have a budget, whether it's weekly, bi-weekly, or monthly, whatever works for you. If you have the ability to, have a financial advisor, I strongly recommend that as well. And then outside of the co-parenting part, it's just like, I miss my kids when they're with dad. So for me, just kind of navigating through that and understanding, put those feelings to the side. That's my mindset. And focus on the kids. I love to say, love your kids more than you hate your ex, right? And that's how you navigate the co-parenting. But I'm so grateful that, every day gets better. That's what I love to say. Yeah.
You really said something there with a part of you dying, because a part of you, you really do have some death of feelings, and you have to figure out, what do I do with these feelings that are still kind of dead? Well, not alive, but they're dying. Where do they go? Because they were once alive. Where, you know what I'm saying? So where do they go? And I'm so glad that you said that, because it is important to be able to know when you are in grief and when you are experiencing those feelings, how do you, get through that, and how do you navigate through that? So I like that. Okay. So if you had to say some things that are helpful or some things that are not helpful at any stage from the separation to the divorce, what are those things? What things are helpful between separation and divorce, and what things are not helpful between separation and divorce?
Good question. I would say for me, the things that were helpful were really just keeping my mind on positive things. Actually, I did a program at my church. It was called Pursuit Ministry. Shout out to Miss Janine. But that program itself was really like a deep dive spiritually. I had, again, the mentor. We were doing homework assignments. I would call it like a spiritual cleansing. But outside of that, just some practical things. I'm a writer, so I do enjoy journaling. That was helpful. Taking walks in the park. Exercise was huge for me, too. Just being strong in body and mind. But also, too, I would definitely say two books I specifically read. One was by Terry McMillan, I Almost Forgot About You. That was a fun read for me.
That was a good read. I read that years ago.
Yes, it was awesome. And then also, too, Successful Women Think Differently by Valerie Burton.
Yeah.
I love her too. So those are just, a few things that work for me. Everybody's different. You do different things. But I would say what's not so helpful is really just dwelling, I would say, on those emotions, right? Whether you're in separation or whether you're, officially divorced, I would definitely recommend just not staying in that place and being stuck. And just keep in mind, women of God, that, this is just a part of your story and your divorce doesn't define you. So I know too, family, love to give their insight and input too. And you have to really disconnect from family, friends, or church members' feedback when they're, keeping you in that place, I would say, of those negative emotions, and just respectfully tune out what they may say if it's referencing your divorce.
Yeah. That's some great advice. I know, I remember getting the advice as to kind of, and you alluded to it, kind of have a toolkit of some things that help you stay positive and not dwell on those feelings and not start spiraling into a place where it's really, really hard to come back from sometimes. And I know I heard you mention some things like hobbies, thinking positive, writing, having those things in your toolkit to do. I remember putting one of the things in my toolkit was called, I called it rebellion therapy. And so I titled it a special group because those were things I felt like I was okay with moving forward and doing that I didn't feel so much so when I was married, or felt like it was constricting for me when I was married. So those things made me feel like, you know what? It's going to be okay. I'm going to be okay. I'm, finding me. I'm finding out more about me. And like you said, with the book from Terry McMillan, I almost forgot about me. Yeah. It does take a while to kind of find you again, with the after divorce, because there's a lot of back and forth of feelings is what I wanted to say. Yeah, they don't just cut off when the paperwork cuts off or when the paperwork is signed. So,
right.
Yeah. So what are your thoughts about co-parenting, finances after divorce?
Like I kind of, spoke to before with the co-parenting part, I know I have to be, sensitive and mindful of everybody's situation is different, right? So some people aren't in communication with their spouse, or not able to, and there are third parties involved. So just speaking to my experience, like I kind of touched on before, I really just try to put the kids first, focus on that, and keep things cordial. Something I would highly recommend, of course, counseling. Counseling is good for yourself, for your kids, to regulate those emotions. Now, this is another option. This is more so with you and your ex. This is awesome if you and your ex are able to do counseling together to navigate co-parenting with your children in a healthy way, right?
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. And then outside of that, again, the finances, that varies with every situation. But ultimately, like I was touching on before, the budgeting aspect is important, the financial advisor, and really just having community. If you have family and friends, don't be ashamed to ask for support and help, because that's what they're there for.
Yeah. What are some of your success stories? I realize you're just getting started in this business and this practice, but you have written 2 books. So that's success alone. However, I wonder, how do you take what you've been successful in so far and transfer it to some of your clients or new clients, and how you're influencing them. I couldn't get that out. As you grow as a coach.
That's a powerful question. For me, I would definitely say what has always worked for me is just keeping your eyes on the prize, right? Or on the promise, however you want to look at it, and really just staying focused. I would say having that discipline, that determination, and dedication. Those are 3 things that have worked for me from my corporate career, and even with writing the books, and navigating the divorce. The key things for me that really, I would say, help me from a personal aspect are really just having that perseverance. Like, how hungry are you? Like, really just the mindset of fighting for your life, or we always hear, we all know, like, you have to fight for what, oh my God, I'm having a brain fart. What is it? You have to work hard for what you want, or, fight for your life, those different aspects. I'm having a brain fart, but
that's okay. We do.
My point is, you fight for what you want. You work hard for what you want. And if it's something you truly desire to, transition and have a better life after divorce, you're going to put in that work, right? Just that intentionality, because you're really trying to, like we said, figure yourself out and become really this new version of yourself. So it's like, how bad do you want it? Because nobody else can do it but you.
That is so true. So true. And I feel like there's so many things out there, people like yourself, counseling that can help you if you didn't know yourself, to help you figure yourself out, like going backwards. Because I know for me, I got married young. So I was 23, 24 when I got married. I'm just learning how to become an adult. So it let alone become a wife and a mother and, so on and so forth. So yeah, those things help to shape you. So thank you. Those are some great success stories. All right. What is one thing as a coach that you are most proud of?
Wow. As a coach, I would say I'm proud of the fact that I have that empathy where I can relate to my clients. I think it's important to have, the background, the experience, the framework, the certification, all those things are great, but empathy goes a long way. To be able to relate to a client or to know where they are, from an emotional standpoint, to help them come out of it, to push them forward, I think is something that sets me apart.
Yeah. I can see that. So how I met Natasha, I didn't go back. I'm going to go back and just kind of interject that here right now. So we have a mutual friend. Hey, Charlotte. Give a shout out to Charlotte, who Charlotte and I meet twice a month. And we talk about different stuff like that. But, we also didn't know, I didn't know that Natasha was going to be there, and I felt an instant vibe and reached out to her especially once I found out what she is doing. So I'm so happy to have met her. So I wanted to kind of go back and fill in that backstory for all of the people who are listening. So I have one last question for you, Miss Natasha. What matters most about being a coach after divorce is... Finish this sentence.
What matters most to me is helping the women discover who they are and become the best versions of themselves.
All right. Very well. Please tell people where they can reach you, how they can get in contact with you.
Most definitely. So I am Natasha S. Mack on all platforms, Instagram, Facebook, Threads, TikTok, and LinkedIn.
All right. And so family, me, I'm going to promote her up. I'm going to market this thing because it really is a thing that needs to be known more, that there is help for you after divorce and you don't have to go it alone. There are people who've already figured out some things to help you along the way. So, you will be hearing more about this young lady. So look out. Watch out for her because she's coming with full force. So in the meantime and in between time, until the next time, you guys, ciao for now.
I'm going to take a moment to remind everyone listening that your story doesn't end with divorce. It is a turning point. It is not the end. Moving on is about rediscovering yourself, embracing your strength, and stepping into a future filled with possibilities. Whether you are finding your independence, healing your heart, or even opening up to love again, know that you are not alone. Surround yourself with support. Celebrate your progress, no matter how small. And most importantly, give yourself grace. Your next chapter is yours to write. And trust me, it is going to be a beautiful one. Be sure to register for the free masterclass called Women. It is a free masterclass of prayer and strategy to gain clarity and confidence as you move forward with your life. I will include the link to the website below. Thank you for tuning in. If this episode resonated with you, be sure to share it with a friend who needs to hear it too. And as always, take care of yourself, stay empowered, and keep moving forward. Until next time, stay strong and stay true to who you are. Ciao for now.